money you make. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care where you live on the map. It really doesn't matter. Hey, my mother remarried when I was 3 years old, and we lived in an 800 square foot single story apartment on a busy highway. We had a black and white TV, and my entertainment was throwing big sticks into the river. My stepfather drove us around in a 1949 GMC pickup truck, and it was two-tone, primer and Bondo. Now I run a successful business, and I have for the past 29 years. I have extremely talented people I have the privilege of working with every day, and had the great fortune of tremendous books and people I have surrounded myself with, and have helped literally thousands of people get on the road to financial freedom. And by the way, if you like this video, please click like below and click the subscribe button so when more videos come out like this, you'll get notified. So there's one thing that matters when dealing with money, and we call it math. And none of the things we just said above gives you an excuse for the math. So many people who get themselves into financial hot water, including me, who got myself into a financial mess when I was first married because I did plain stupid, dumb things like buy a timeshare on my honeymoon because I didn't bother to do the math. Like the gal who graduated from college with $150,000 in debt, makes $40,000 a year, and goes out and buys a new $50,000 car because she deserves it. Now, there's things that rich people do that are dumb also, like the man who called us up the other day to protect millions of dollars and was whining about spending $20,000 to protect his money from a vicious lawsuit. And he was whining about $20,000, and he scratched his butt because that's where your head goes when you do dumb things, is in your butt. And the judge slapped him with a temporary restraining order a month later. In other words, he had a small window of opportunity to keep his millions, but he lost it all because he was whining about spending a measly $20,000 to protect it all. Or you're 23 years old, we buy a $25,000 car and rack up $15,000 in credit card debt, and you make $30,000 a year. And when you make $30,000 a year, there is no way in that pea brain of yours that can justify a $25,000 car and still have a life. Now, someone has two kids and one on the way, and they make $29,000 a year, and they ask if they should go back to work. In fact, her medical bills are covered by the state Medicaid program, and if she goes back to work, she won't qualify, and she'll have to pay daycare, and she's going to break even. So if these people would just simply do the math, that is, do the math up front, and use that brain you were born with before jumping off the cliff. So the key thing is sit down, write down a long-term plan, and stick with it. If you're married, do that with your spouse. For example, if you're in sales and you make 1 or 2 or 3, 4 extra sales calls each day, if you work by the hour and you put in extra time each day, and you can really give value to the company and make them more than it costs them to pay you, it would be crazy for your company not to give you the extra hours. So for every one of these problems we talked about, these people need to come up with a game plan. In fact, grown-ups make plans and follow them. Little kids just do what feels good. In fact, Dr. Stephen Covey, who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, he said, the number one trait of successful people is this: they are proactive. That is, they happen to things don't happen to them. So when you're flat butt broke, people say it costs too much. And what they really should say is, I can't afford it. Not, I might be able to make the monthly payments. That's what people say who spend all they make. And if you don't want to live in flat broke city anymore, get the heck out of the habit of making payments. Just stop it. Save up your own money and pay cash instead of paying the bank interest. Or just don't buy it. That is, except maybe for a house. If you can't afford to pay cash for it, then don't buy the dang thing. And that includes a car. Yes, a car. And that is the secret of the rich. Rich people are not slaves to banks and monthly payments. They save up and pay cash. If two people make the exact same amount of money, now think about it, and one makes payments and the other saves up and pays cash, and the one that saves money and pays cash takes that same money that they would have flushed down the toilet in interest to banks and invested it in a mutual fund, the one who made payments will need to retire in a rundown trailer park, depending on Social Security. And the other will live in a paid-off home and have money to spare from the profit from their investments. Same money, and it's that simple. The biggest difference between rich and poor is just that. So it's not just how much money you make. I mean, somebody can make $1 million and still end up broke by being a fool. And I know somebody who did that. They inherited over $1 million and they blew it all by day trading. And by the way, 80% of day traders lose money and 96% of Forex traders lose money. Now, of course, you do want to increase your income, but you can increase your income and still stay away from the doggone payments. Okay? Now, the bottom line is it's math. It's what you learned in 6th grade math class. A $48,000 SUV and a $75,000 income is insane. Whether you pay cash for it or not, it's just insanity. And if you finance it, it's triple insanity. But I just wanted a safe car for the children. Oh, aren't you so noble and righteous? It's for the children. Now, there are plenty of safe cars out there that are safe for the children and won't make you stressed out on pins and needles every month. Now, so many people make just plain dumb decisions and they try to justify buying what they really wanted to buy in the first place just because it's for the children. I want something safe. And I'm not saying don't buy a safe car for the children. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't use the children as an excuse to justify something stupid. Okay, there are plenty of safe cars out there that are within most people's budgets if they just look hard enough. It's called being an adult. Adults can put off what they want now for something better that they have later. 3-year-olds just want it now. And so many adults operate on a 3-year-old level, and we justify our foolish impulses by making up stuff that sounds good. Okay? Now, I'm so tired. I just want to go out to eat. Well, here's a hanky. Well, if you tried to keep up with me for a week, you'd probably be carried off in an ambulance. We all work hard, you poor little thing. And let's talk about going out to eat because you're tired. You're 28 years old. You have $120,000 in student loan debt, $7,000 in credit card debt, and you make $48,000 a year. Okay? And you're stressed out of your mind because you hop in and out of restaurants and justify vacations that you can't afford. And you go to Target and you buy junk you don't need. Now give me a break. Okay? No wonder you can't breathe. No wonder you have monthly payments coming out of both ends. People who are 25 years old and make $35,000 a year and who want to get ahead in life don't go out and buy one $10,000 thing that goes down in value. They don't run up their credit cards to buy things to impress their friends, to have the illusion of doing well when you're really up in debt up to your eyeballs. In fact, they don't even put $500 on their credit card because they're smart enough not to have one in the first place. It's death by 1,000 lashes. Then one day you wake up and ask, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Okay? So how stupid are we? Now you have me on your side, okay? And believe me, I know stupid because I've done stupid. Honey, we're not going to buy this SUV. I know you want a nice car, but we're broke. Broke people don't buy a $50,000 Nissan SUV and we're broke, okay? And you and I both know that we're broke because we don't have any money. That's how I know we're broke. Well, we make a lot, yeah, but it's all gone at the end of every month because we spend it all on monthly payments and crap we don't need. Okay, now we're going to go out. We're not going to go out to restaurants. Why? Because we're broke and we don't have money. I mean, you're not freaking Congress. You don't just go out and print money in your basement. You have to live on less than you earn. And you have a plan. And you need to be, again, Stephen Covey said it, proactive. You don't impress people who don't really care. Impress people you don't like with things that you can't afford. You need to take charge of your life, or else Visa and MasterCard and Walmart will. You need to spend less than you make. I know people who make $35,000 a year and save money. I meet people who earn $150,000 a year and don't have $1,000 to their names. You have to decide, I'm going to be an adult. Whether you're 62 or 32 or 22, and devise a plan and follow it. Okay? Too many people are worried about hurting people's feelings nowadays. Well, I'm not really too worried about hurting people's feelings, because I feel like you can take a good financial slap in the face as a wake-up call and put your life back on track, and you'll love me for it. Let me tell you about feelings. What really feels good is not having any payments, is having a pile of money invested in good mutual funds, spitting off an income you can live off of, so you can go to work because you want to, not because you have to. And what feels good is being able to stop focusing on yourself and buy a truckload of gifts for underprivileged children for the holidays, to give money to somebody else who needs it, who's hurting. What if somebody can't afford their light bill? What if you give them that money for their light bill, a few $100s? Could you imagine what difference that would make in their life, how that would make them feel, and how, more importantly, how it would make you feel? That's what feels good. But so many people live in a world of monthly payments, making bankers rich instead of being rich yourself. Hey, most people are broke. Normal is being broke. In fact, the Wall Street Journal says that 70% of the people in America, the richest country in the world, 70% live paycheck to paycheck. Go ahead and go outside and count 10 houses on your block, and I don't care which block, 7 out of 10 of them are flat broke. They look good, they act like fat cats, but they are what we call all sizzle, no steak, all go and no show, or as they say in Texas, big hat, no cattle. Don't live like that. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be weird. Hey, don't you think people thought Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk to be weird? Be weird. Hey, don't be normal. Normal is flat butt broke. Let broke people make fun of you, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. This is The Business Guy.